This video covers how to set an event within ENVision to watch for a specific condition that occurs in the data. The first step is to go to the ENVision configuration website. If you're on the new version, you do that through this ENVision sites icon. For the remainder of this video, I'm going to be using the legacy interface, which has a similar layout. Coming to the ENVision main website to look at the events that are ongoing in the system, you click the Events tab. This shows you everything that's ongoing by default between midnight and now, or the end of the day. If we want to create a new event, we can do so through the Configuration tab or section. From there, we go to the Process Values list. We find the specific process value we want to look at. In this case, we're going to set a limit on CO. Using the filter, I find the appropriate process value. I then go to the aggregates. I pick the specific aggregate that I want to set the event on. In this case, I'm going to set it on the 1 hour average. From there, I click on the events, which may pop up in a dialog or may pop up in a new window, depending on which version of the system you're using. This allows us to create an event. As you can see, it takes us where the filter by the process value and aggregate. If there are other events listed on this aggregate, you'll see them here as well. I'm going to copy the process value, click on Add. Depending on which version of the system you're using, you may have to manually put the process value in here and select it. On some systems, it's auto-populated. From here, we put a description. This is free-form text. If you then need to set the create role and modify role, create role allows you to determine which level of permission you need to manually create an event. Typically, this would be an admin or power user role. And you need, well, we'll say the admin here, and the modify role, which is basically allows you to modify the event after the system creates it. This typically is a lower level user so that they can enter details about the event. The reason code group allows you to look at different, assign different reason codes from a set of specified ones. This is typically either downtime or exceedance. In this case, since we're looking at CO, we're going to pick exceedance, and that allows the user to filter and set that. And corrective action typically would match. The event type is important. I'm only going to cover in this video the limit and permit limit events. The event type is limit. Limit is a type of event that you are monitoring, but it does not show up on some reports like the compliance report, which only shows permit limits. In this case, since we're looking at CO and it's a permit limit, we're going to select permit limit for this. The limit value is the numeric value the limit is at. In this case, we're going to say 15. It's a static limit. If we wanted to look at if we had an external tag in the DCS, which gave the limit, we would not put a limit value here. We would actually find the process value within the system and aggregate, which DataSync is populating with values. So that would be, you use it I will just pick a tag, random one here for the purposes. It brings up all the process values in the system that match your criteria, and then you pick the aggregate. If you're using a PV aggregate and process value, it's important that this process value aggregate, the limit value, is always at the same timestamp as the parameter being monitored, or in the future, because ENVision will not process this event until the limit by PV aggregate is on or before or in the future of the process value. We're not going to do that for this demonstration, so we're going to type a static limit. Typically, best practice is if it's a static limit, or is to put the value in there or limit in there as well, so it's easy to understand. The limit type is very important. You are defining the condition that the event does not occur. So in this case, everything is okay if the CO hourly average is below 15. So in this case, we're going to say there's no event that's going to happen when the exceedant, when the process value is less than or equal to 15. If we want to notify monitor for when it's 15 or above, we would set it simply to less than. The default reason code is what the system will automatically assign when the event happens. It's primarily for some types of reports. You typically do want to set the auto reason code. That way it shows up in the system. It's the same with the default corrective action. It will show you the default from the list group that you selected above here in the corrective action group. The aggregate calc allows you to, after the event closes, it will go through the values that occurred during that time and then store one of these types of values. So if you want the average value during that time period where this event occurred, that you can use that. Typically, you are most likely to use a maximum or minimum. In this case, since the limit is 15, I want to know how far, what the highest value was during that time period. I'm not going to cover the aggregate subtract limit right now. The eval event tag is a tag that allows you to suppress the generation of the event, meaning this event will only occur when a tag, external tag, is a specific value. That's not going to be covered in this video as well. Active status, you need to make sure this is checked. We're not going to cover the following other examples for a simple permit limit or limit event. From there, you click on Save. You see the fields that are set. Clicking the Go Back will take you back to the filter, which allows you to see that your event is created and that it's active. It's important to note that creating an event does not necessarily create a notification. There is a separate video which covers creating a notification when an event occurs. This concludes the video.